Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Walking in Two Worlds. You're taking a Hero's Journey online course, and I'm excited to see you all checking in the chat room and continue to do that as you come on board. Announce yourself in the chat room just by saying that you're here. And you did the hard part. You got signed up. You got the technology linked up. We're still getting more people coming in, so we're going to take our time here for the first time together. Walking in Two Worlds has to do with our capacity to live in the world that's happening all around us in our ordinary life, and then having the ability to step out of that and simply drop that reality and to drop inside and open ourselves up to something that's going to take us beyond that world. And we're all going to experiment the first time today on our session 1, Call to Adventure, which is going to be our theme for today's broadcast. The first thing we're going to do is step into timelessness, and we're going to do a brief meditation. So after you've announced yourself and said hello, get yourself comfortable, adjust your headsets, get a comfortable chair, and settle in. And we'll begin by following our breath, taking a breath, crossing that threshold that takes us inside ourselves. And follow your breath without changing it. Follow your inhalation, and then follow your exhalation to its very end. Just like that. And many of us are preoccupied with many things happening in our day today, and many things that are going to need our attention when we're done with our time together for this hour. But for right now, drop everything and let your mind just settle down as if a stone has been dropped into water and is sinking towards the ground. Let that happen. Quieting yourself, quieting your mind, following your breath. Feel your seat underneath you, the ground underneath you. Just keep adjusting yourselves. Nice, deep, full breath. Our capacity to feel our bodies, feel the ground supporting us underneath us, and to take full, deep, steady breaths, and to be aware of that breathing. That's how we make this threshold crossing. It takes us into a different space, a deeper space, a quieter space. Growing our capacity to listen for and then follow a call to adventure requires us to be able to pay attention deep inside. Deep listening. Deep letting go. Those of you coming into the chat, entering the course now, a few minutes behind, finding your way, getting washed ashore here through the technological rapids. Let that happen and then quiet yourselves down. Just follow your breathing. And let yourself come here fully. Fully into here. Fully into your next breath. That's it. You're the one who walks in your daily world, and you're the one who's capable of going beyond it, going deep inside the self, opening yourself to possibility, opening yourself to adventure, opening yourself to wonder. You're the one who can do all of that. I bring your focus right to here and now. Both the feeling of your breath, the feeling of your body in the seat, and then when you're ready, just a soft gaze or visual awareness of the screen in front of you. Perhaps my image on the screen. That's it. Just keep coming into the now. Something pulled you to this course. Some of you are returning from our initial venture last spring. Welcome back to all of you. Thank you for coming back. Some of you are brand new. Welcome you to the beginning of your adventure that begins right now. Some of you are visiting today as guests for just this session, and we welcome you as well. So coming in to the moment, coming right here. Something has called you. Something has invited you to come to the course. Someone has invited you perhaps to come into this course, to come into this journey. And this is an experiment on allowing yourself to say, as of today, as of the start of this course, this broadcast, all of us together, right now there's about 75 or 80 of us, as I understand it, who are all going to be journeying together over the next 4 months, taking ourselves to deeper places of mystery, simple places of action, and we're going to have a bridge between the world of mythic adventure and the world of your daily life, and living that adventure and looking to seize the opportunities of that adventure in the life that you live day to day. That's what we're going to do. We're going to start that right now with the poem, which is from the essay that I wrote on the Call to Adventure that's published on the Walking in Two Worlds website. Hero's Journey essay number 2, Taking Up the Journey. So just listening to yourself now, feeling your body, and being curious as to why you're here, why you're doing this, and not needing to have an answer to that question. Being deeply curious as to why you're taking this course, why you're interested in this adventure. And we'll begin with a poem by Mary Oliver. This is a poem that many of you may be familiar with, and we're going to revisit it one more time, and if it's brand new for you, then enjoy the ride. It goes like this. One day, you finally knew what you had to do. One day. One day, you finally knew what you had to do, and you began. Though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole world began to tremble, the whole house began to tremble, and you felt the old tug at your ankles. Fix my life, mend me, each voice cried. But you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do, though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations, and though their melancholy was terrible. It was already late enough and a wild night, and the road full of fallen branches and stones. It was already late enough and a wild night, the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, and determined to save the only life you could save. One day, you finally knew what you had to do, and you began. That one day, for many of us, is always a question Do we really know what we have to do? And what does it take for that one day to occur? And how will all of us practice in these 2 weeks ahead with the practice of listening deeply to ourselves, learning to listen to the call. We're going to enter into a more internally guided phase now. And before we do that, as we prepare for that, I'd like all of you just to resonate with the premise of being called towards a life's adventure and your readiness for a life's adventure. And ready for one to unfold the next one for you, the one that's right for you and the one that will bring you most alive and help you to realize the most of your potential here in these days ahead. And I'd like those of you who feel ready to go into the meditation just to say either you're here or you're ready. So let's just do that. All of you on the login and the text, if you can just chat. Ready, I'm here. Just to feel us all presencing as if we were all coming together in a large circle. All right, Marcus, that's it. Everyone just keep coming in. If you can see down in the text chats, you can see everybody coming into this circle for the journey. Yeah. Everyone coming in just like that, one at a time. Good to hear from all of you. Just like that. So let yourself go inside again. Let yourself go inside again. I'm ready. And if you're willing to consider this possibility that the adventure that you're ready for is also ready for you, and it's coming towards you, and it's making its way towards you. What are we ready for? These are the things we have to get ourselves ready for now. We have to be ready to feel pulled. This readiness is something that's going to happen inside in our bodies and in our hearts, not just in our heads. This is a readiness that's going to pull us forward and take us forward. A deep pull, asking for that, and opening to that with our whole heart. Saying, pull me forward, life. Mystery, pull me forward, take me forward. It's a yes current that says, take me on the journey, pull me past all those other voices that are filled with fear or fixing. It's a readiness to become more than you already are, to follow an evolutionary life pulse that's already happening in you and in me and in the others. And what we're doing right now, if you pay close attention and you feel yourself, right now, and when you say you're ready, you're lighting the ember inside of yourself. The hot coal, heating the coal of the soul that says, I'm ready to answer this call. And when we have 40 or 50 or 70 or 80 of us, the way we're doing, all saying we're ready together at the same time, the way we're just doing through the chat text, we're putting all of those coals together, creating a communal fire. A communal soul that ignites and says, okay, let's get this journey underway. Let me feel this call to adventure. Let me feel this pull me forward. And the feeling that we're going to practice listening to is being willing to devote 10 minutes out of our lives, perhaps on a daily basis, but enough of the time for the next 2 weeks. Preferably the beginning or the end of each day. And the saying that I am ready. A very simple I am ready meditation. Allowing that to happen. And feeling what happens in the body when we say yes. We have the yes current, or we say yes, I'm ready. Feeling that in our body, feeling that in our hearts, feeling that in our bellies, the pull towards something more. And things will start to come, and the feeling will start to come where it feels like we're being summoned, we're being taken. And we're going to be taking to things that we wouldn't normally ask for, that the ego wouldn't ask for, but the soul insists upon, but we're ready. And by doing this, we prepare to shift the boundary between what's not yet been possible and what's about to become possible. Simply by saying, I'm ready. And the next step is going to be able to say, I'm willing. That I am willing. I'm willing to be taken on the journey. I am willing to listen deeply. I am willing to be called in. I am willing to go for the ride. So ready and willing. The ability to be willing. And again, we don't go searching for this. It's already alive in us. It's the ability to realize that there's a way that we feel alive, and a way that we feel pulled, and a way that we're willing to simply listen. As if all of us right now were sitting in the middle of a wild forest, not needing to go anywhere in particular, but simply listening. And listening to the sounds around us, the sights around us we take in with our eyes. But we're also listening within ourselves. The feeling of our own breath and heartbeat, our own deep curiosity. That's what we want to do. We want to be taken for a ride. So what happens in you when you start to listen? Just listen to the beat of your heart, the feeling of your heart, your chest, and follow your breath. Deeper breaths now. All the way in, all the way out. Again, and then follow that breath deeper. Let the exhale come out a little longer. Even a little sound if you want to have that happen. Just keep listening to I am ready. Follow your breath. I am ready. And I am willing to go on the adventure that brings me alive, that pulls me into life, that takes me places I wouldn't have seen, wouldn't have guessed. I am ready for that. And how do you feel this already happening for you? Those in your lives, how do you feel already on the adventure? How do you already feel pulled into the river? How do you feel longing? How do you know when something pulls you towards vitality? And are you willing to live without an immediate answer, an immediate solution, immediate path? Are you willing to deal with the mystery and the unknown for a while? That's the question. What happens when you sit at the edge of your own being right now, opening yourself, one among many, preparing for a meaningful or the next adventure for your life? How would that be? What is that like? I ask you to keep listening. So how's everybody doing? Just type a whoop. So what we need to do in order to begin this kind of deepening is that we really have to be willing to live with the unknown for a while. That we can't have an answer, an immediate end to our adventure. That we have to be a willingness to live with mystery, enchantment, and wonder as part of the journey. To feel the sound of the flute, the way it still echoes inside. The call to be right in this moment, to be right here with us and nowhere else, and to be in your body, be in the felt sense of your body. That's right, Derek. Expecting nothing and be ready for anything. I'd like to take some text feeds now. Those of you who are responding to this, there'll be a number of people who are viewing the video who don't get the opportunity to read the beautiful chat taking place right now. And we'll take some, also take some of you who would like to come on and respond and practice on the live video sequence about your experience of being here on the course and being able to feel a certain presence beyond what you were feeling when you first came on that's alive inside your body. So get practice now with the feel of this, being able to tap in, feel into, and make something more inside yourself right now. Simply by breathing and focusing inside your body and opening yourself to readiness for adventure. Feeling what's happening for you. Yeah, it is like feeling at the starting line of a race, Deirdre, just what you're saying in the chat. You start to feel this literally energy in your body start to come alive, and it starts to take you. And you have to follow that as well as tolerate that. So you'll see there's a text box over there just underneath the questions, just underneath me. It's live video and text, and we'll take some text in here now as well. Those of you willing to talk and someone that would like to come live on, we're going to practice that. The important thing that we'll be doing as we feel into this call, and this call to the soul's adventure, and to living out our own personal myth, is this willingness to feel in our bodies the sense of curiosity, wonder, and waiting. Where we're simply listening, and we're simply being receptive and actively waiting, not passively waiting. And feeling a sense of aliveness, curiosity, and possibility that wasn't there a minute ago. It wasn't there. When we're in our heads chasing thoughts or thinking, what should we do? It's sitting inside the field of possibility. So comments in the text box will be good. Say what's happening for you now. I'll take some text feeds. Also, I'm going to get Joseph Baraha here on as a co-host in a few minutes to have him share some of his experience of what it's like to feel called to adventure. And I will do the same. Yeah, you'll see here that it says questions, but it's not really for questions, it's really response and the opportunity, feeling yourself responding. So the idea is strange to the ego that part of how we prepare to go on an adventure is by opening ourselves to dreamlike states and opening ourselves to wonder. And I encourage all of you to read the essay that I wrote on taking up the adventure, taking up the journey, that'll be posted and up on the website. That's what we can do, is we can wait and we can listen. And those of you who would like to do that now, you can just feel that quiet place inside, a place of being grounded, a place of practicing a deep listening. We have a response from Kate Gilbert. Yes, it's a sense of being peaceful, being in the unknown. Curious as to why we're here. Just breathe through that tension in the solar plexus. And Chris is coming on. Chris, this is a great language. The feeling of ferocious possibility, right? That fierceness is definitely a part have to be willing to be in the unknown and not have a clear answer yet, just to ride the sensations that people are speaking about. Adriana says, will centering and meditating help me discern the difference between an ego call and a soul call? I don't know, but you won't without doing that. I think we could do a little of that right now, actually, Adriana. You know, the difference between a soul call and an ego call has more to do with the feeling of a yes current that does not have an attachment to particular content. Ego is often attached to a particular thing. Well, I'm going to become a doctor. I'm going to go on a meditation retreat at this particular place. I'm going to do this particular thing. Those are ego-driven. The soul's call is going to be shrouded more in mystery, where you have a sense and a feel and a pull that takes you in a certain way. And these aren't fantasy wishes. You know, the call, when we sit and we're quiet, is we're happy simply to sit for the sake of being quiet, knowing that the call is coming. That's how you sit for the call to adventure. Not wishing for something in particular. That's a very important distinction. It's a facing of the unknown. It's something that's even the possibility of it being frightening or threatening, but we're still willing to go there. It's like a compelling need to walk into a mystery. It's like walking into the mouth of a whale, or out into a dark night, even into a storm. You know, there's this profound sense that something essential is waiting for you in the midst of something wild and undefined, and your one true life depends on your being willing and able to head in that direction. And you know, we often say that we want to find our calling, but it's putting ourselves in position where the calling finds us. And when you feel that call, Adriana, it's more like a deja vu experience. Bill Plotkin speaks of this. It's you know you belong to this feeling inside yourself, even though you've never quite encountered it before. You can't really explain it. It's something very familiar to you that you can't put your finger on. And for me, you know, this deep call to create learning communities. I do with Aaron Tobler and psychoenergetics, that I do with many other people here on the Heroes Journey work. It's simply this deep longing and call to bring these embers together that we all are and watch what happens in the ignition, never really knowing in advance. And something always surprising emerges out of that, always. You know, and as well, as you start to feel things that you were really attached to and you've had great investments in start to slip away or fall away, or suddenly become less important or meaningful, as this call starts to overtake you, and you realize that the things that you were invested in before, you're now being divested of, and you can feel this sense of, as Chris was saying, being ferociously attuned to the possible, even though you don't know what it is yet. David Rigo says, yeah, it's a gentle feeling like a vast rolling meadow at dawn. But the mysterious mist, it's that pull into the mist that you want to walk into the mist of that meadow to see where it takes you. That's the call. Now, Bernadette, yeah, the heart opening. Yeah, that's it. Isn't that the truth? That when you feel that heart opening like that, it's fear and excitement together. It's hardly ever just one or the other. Or if it is just fear, we don't go anywhere. If it's just the excitement, we don't tend to be very committed. We leave it when the excitement leaves. And to answer Adriana's question, I think Bernadette's response is a worthwhile response to that. How you know the difference between an ego and a soul call? Well, there's no question that an ego's call is attached to the outcome. And And the soul is simply attached to the calling, not the outcome. So what we'll be doing often is practicing letting go. And Brian sharing about feeling the dark side, the dark shadows of the call, of being embroiled or turmoiled by a call, the way something starts to fight, and he talks about the negativity. Part of what we contend with when we feel and start to listen to a call to adventure is that we're confronted by our negating force. We're confronted by something that stops us and wants to negate life out of habit, out of an habituation that's just familiar to us. It's not really an unknown commodity the way the call is. Would anyone, let's see if we have a live video coming up. I think we do have somebody here. All right, we're going to bring David up. Hi, David. You want to give us a brief reflection on the call? David just disconnected out there. So we'll bring him up again. David's reflection on the video was the same thing that Bernadette was speaking about, that there's no way not to feel a resistance to a call as well, and to be curious about it. How it holds us back. And it's also a sign that we're on track about being curious about the resistance, and wanting to pursue that resistance. And stalk it a little more. And to ask for some more staying power to stay with it. And curiosity is really essential to be able to stay with it and to get through. Part of another obstacle to the call that's being discussed right now in the chat section is the experience of shame and our sense of unworthiness, our sense of inadequacy, our sense of being undeserving of it. And those are one of the daemons of the threshold that often get in the way of answering the call. I think many of us know this one. It's part of our humanity. The places that say we're not good enough, and that it's threatening to let our deep longing surface, our deep need surface. But really it's our humanity, letting that get airtime. And letting the gods get a taste of that. I'd like to see if anyone else would be willing to come on and share some of their experience of the call to adventure. And in terms of your readiness, would you be willing to take 10 minutes out of your day today just to practice a deeper listening where you could quiet yourself and feel what it is that you would be called to, what's speaking to you? But more than being spoken to, just the willingness to feel, and the practice of listening, the deep listening for the call. Are we willing to deeply listen to the call? The deep listening is the very thing that's going to wake us up. It's going to wake us up to the call. When we can listen deeply, we start to quiet everything. We start to quiet the waters. And the feeling of the quieting in and of itself is an answer. We're going to go through this one time. it's like to listen deeply. So how's everybody doing? What are some more responses coming up in the chat? What's happening for you? Let's see what we got. Welcome, David. Get David back now. Absolutely. That's what I think. That's a good segue, Dave, for what we're all going to go in, just to feel what that feels like, but without having. It's like fishing without having to catch the fish. Thanks for coming. Go ahead. Absolutely. Yeah, we look for negative outcomes too, that's for sure. And thank you, David, for coming on. You dropped out again here. Would anyone else like to drop in on the chat before we go into our meditation, into our live video? Be brave, people, be brave. The call to adventures, hitting that live video feed and getting through, coming on and talking. Okay. So the practice for us, and that will be the focus of our attention in the days ahead, is going to be the willingness to take 10 minutes to practice deep listening, knowing that that's what others are going to be practicing too, that we're all going to be listening each our own way together, and to practice doing that. And I would like to get us ready to do that one more time now. And then I'm going to ask for us to all share our responses in the chat. So once again, now we're getting warmed up. We're learning how we journey together. Asking you to come back into the ground of your being, and the ground of your seat, the ground of your breathing. And simply, with your intention, with your mind's focus, opening up the call to soul. A desire, a readiness to answer the soul's desire to incarnate. The heart's desire to express that, to realize our adventure in this lifetime now, this next adventure, the thing that we were born to do, what we came here to do, to let adventure take us. And could we allow that to happen in our bodies now? Clear minds, solid bodies, open hearts, fluid breath, right now, while holding the intention for the call to come. Some of us deeply desire to feel the call come in for us, so we ask for that now. Let the call start coming to me. And some of us know the call. You can feel the call already, and what we need is the courage and the inspiration, the strength, the staying power to follow the call. And to keep following the call. And to keep following the call. Breathing into that, so that's the intention for some of us. And for others, it's going to be taking that action step and crossing some threshold into a deeper commitment to the following and the call into action. To take the action, the adventure further than we've ever gone before with something in our lives. What would you be willing to do to support this for yourself? Now would you simply be willing to breathe more deeply into your belly? Hold the thought, I am ready, once again. I am ready. Follow your breath again deep into your belly, relaxing through your jaw, opening through your chest, shoulders back. I am willing. I am willing. Deep breath into the belly once again. Holding this third thought, the ones that we struggle with when we deal with inadequacy and shame. A simple declaration of I am able. I am able enough to respond to the call. I am able enough to respond to my own call, to what calls to me. I am ready. I am willing. I am able now. Good enough now. Making space inside. Deep breath, deep listening. Answering the call. And feeling that in the body. Again, it's not so much the clear message yet, what your adventure may be. The willingness to tolerate the increased sensation and flow of energy in the body while holding the intention for the call to adventure. Nice deep clearing breath. When we are congruent, can't that resistance fall away? Peggy's asking. Well, does that happen when you do this meditation like that? If you're not chasing outcomes, and you don't need anything to happen right now other than your own interior life to be activated and for you to be present to it, you're in the adventure. It starts creeping in. Creativity comes in. Inspiration comes in. Possibility comes in. It's always a surprise. Always a surprise. Notice that that's happening. That's what we're going to test out in this week ahead. I think the other thing that starts happening that keeps us from listening, Beva is saying this courageously, says, what I'm feeling connected to now is the grief of not having listened in the past. And amen to that, Beva, huh? Jamie's speaking about this in the chat. Janai as well. It's our sense of inadequacy, our sense of grief or shame that will stop us from listening, staying with it. You'll be hearing a song of ours from time to time on the journey that says, come, 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 you who are a wanderer. Come, just come, come, you who are a worshiper of this way. This is not a caravan of despair. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Even if you've broken your vows to yourself 1,000 times, just come into the now point right now. Christy says, I set my intentions daily. Is this my ego? No, not necessarily. Your ego is the attachment to the outcome. What happens? Sometimes nothing happens. It's all right. Sometimes it all starts happening. That's all right. No, intention is a balance. Clear intention is a balance between desire and determination and will. That centering point that creates effortlessness and holding it. So I'd like you all now to listen closely to this next thing. We have about 5 more minutes. And the willingness right here is to start anew today, to answer the call today and let this journey be a 4-month journey that we all go to together. And the courage to stay with the call is Sherry is sharing right now on the chat. And what's going to help us do this is to not go it alone. And there's only us, it's only myself that can listen to my own call. And only I can choose to follow that. It's true. But it's best to do that within the company of my own kind. And I'm going to encourage you to work through some of your resistances to journey with us. You're going to have an invitation to join an ally group, where you'll be a group of a small group of maybe 6 to 8 or 8 to 10 people who would gather online on a monthly basis in between these calls, or maybe even a bi-weekly basis. We can get that going. You'll get assigned to an ally group facilitator who will be hosting these smaller circles where you can get online and speak about the theme that you'll be invited to. It's purely optional to choose into that. It's perfectly okay not to take that. And if you'd like to work occasionally with an online facilitator, we can arrange for that too. We could just sit with you for half an hour or so and listen to what you're saying and offer you some reflections about your current journey. That won't be a possibility too. And I'd ask all of you to get off your Facebook resistances and simply join the community page, which is the Walking in Two Worlds webpage, where we're going to share photos and writings about the ways that we're responding to the call to adventure and how that's living for us right now. But more than anything else, the thing that I have to say to you right now is it's the willingness to listen for the call that makes the call come to you. That we've got to practice this. It can be 5 minutes. This is open season for the next 2 weeks between now and our next live broadcast, where we're going to focus on listening to this call and sharing what it's like to listen and the aliveness of that listening inside. Because this kind of listening is a response in and of itself. And in addition to that, the bonus is what starts to come that we didn't see coming while we were practicing the listening. And contending with ego wishes always, We'll do that. But it's going to be come, you who are a wanderer, you who are worshipers, you lovers of leaving. Just come back to this practice of deep listening to what's calling and pulling you forward. So how is this for you? You're going to see an invitation on the text chat that you can scroll through. And you can visit Walking Two Worlds, and you get an invitation to an ally group. You'll be hearing from us to join in and to circle up. And in the future, for our sessions, we're going to be having co-hosts come on and join us. Today we're somewhat limited. Irene Tobler is here. Actually, I'm in Spain doing this broadcast from San Felipe de Guíxols on the coast of Spain. We're preparing for a psychoenergetics training out here, but we didn't have the bandwidth to get Irene on as well. But from time to time, for each of our sessions, we'll be having some musical accompaniment. We'll have Jamie at times playing the flute, have Lisa Dosher playing some songs. I see her on there, Bernadette. We're going to talk you into coming on and doing something, Bernadette, as well as a few other people that we'll have. And we'll also have speakers come on and join me for some of the discussions. today, it's the call. It's the call to adventure. Listen up, people. It's the call to adventure. It's on its way. It's coming for you. You got to listen. You got to practice the listening. Take some time today. And those of you, as you're exiting out the chat, just say your goodbyes and say your departure. Heading towards the call is a good enough way to say that. Or in your own words. Karen Bolton's just arrived. Hi, Karen. You can watch the recording tomorrow. It'll be posted. You'll all be able to watch the recording. Yeah, if you signed up, Seema, you're correct. It's time. It's time for you to do this. So we're reaching out for allies. We're going to close once again with the Mary Oliver poem, so I'd like you just to listen. Close your eyes for this minute, and you can feel this poem a little more deeply now for you. Ready? Now one day, my friend, you finally knew what you had to do. You had to listen. You had to listen deeply for the call that would come only to you and to no one else. One day, today you may finally know there's one thing you have to do. And you've got to listen deeply in your heart. And quiet yourself enough to listen to the call that will come to you in that listening, to the echoes. And you have to do this because the voices around you are going to keep shouting bad advice. The culture is going to tell what you're supposed to be doing. The obligations to keep. And listening to the call to adventure is not an avoidance of responsibility. It's a deep responsibility. It's a deeper responsibility that's not just obligations. It's rooted in the deep soul's longing and desire. And many of us feel this way, that it's already late. It's late enough, and it's a wild night, and we've waited too long. But it's not too late. If you're on the course, it's because it's your time. You hear me about that. If you're doing this course right now, it's because it's your time. It's your time, and it's time for something in particular, and you're going to realize that with the support of allies. Just keep going forward, keep stepping forward, and little by little, it's going to work. It goes little by little, not all at once. The soul won't reveal itself to you all at once. It takes an entire lifetime, but that's the adventure. Get the one little piece the soul is going to sing to you now, whisper to you now. Get that piece and clutch to it. Take it to your hands and put it in your heart. Journal. You've got to write this stuff down. You've got to tell somebody about this that you trust, a kindred spirit. And little by little, these outside voices will be left behind. These internal superego voices will begin to burn away. And this new voice you'll start hearing, and you'll recognize clearly as your own voice. And it's going to keep you company over these 4 months that we take the journey. It's going to take you deeper and deeper into yourself. And hopefully that will take you deeper and deeper, little by little, into the world that's happening all around you. And when you save your own life like this, you have a lot more to give to the people around you. Kate Gilbert says her soul is wagging its tail. That's good. That's right. So thank you, everyone. We'll see you now in 2 weeks for the session number 2, Walking in Two Worlds. And we'll be crossing the threshold deeper into the adventure. But for now, take up some of the assignments that you'll see on the web course. Practices to follow the call to adventure and practice deep listening. And also visit the audio offerings and the video offerings, the fresh video offerings by John Atwood. Very exciting to see some of his video creations on the call to adventure. And join an ally group and visit us on the Facebook page today and share the impact of this on the Facebook page, or to let others know about it on Facebook, about the impact that this was having on you. Take care, everybody. See you again soon. Follow your bliss now.